that it might have been the offense who drew them across.
Well, I always point fingers. It was Fitzpatrick that jumped. The question is whether or not he was drawn offside. No, he wasn't. Well, we watched Fitzpatrick on films, and he does a lot of jumping around. 62 on the right of your screen, you see him there. He's trying to anticipate the snap count, and that's something you shouldn't do. Defensive linemen, you get down in your stance and you watch the ball out of the corner of your eye, and that's your movement. As soon as that ball moves, you go. If you listen to the snap count, that'll happen all day.
Easy way to get a first down. Fitzpatrick, a very antsy, kind of restless performer out there, always bouncing around, aggressive style.
In a lot of cases, that's right. The center, Wayne Radloff, if a guy gets into the neutral zone, he snaps the ball automatically just to catch him offside and give you five yards, and that might have been what happened.
42-yard line. Williams, big hole across the field to the 46. Big play. Calvin Eason makes the stop at the 46. We've got 2:32 to go. Tie ball game, and Michigan is moving the football down the field.
Well, that was a quick hitter up the middle, and first down. That'll work for you. And Michigan doesn't want Houston to get the ball back, obviously, because they know that Houston offense is really potent. Novo Bahovic is one of the great kickers in the league, but he hasn't kicked a field goal in almost 3 games. Not the last 2 and not yet today. So he's got to be thinking about that a little bit, too.
First and 10 again. Williams again gets it up the middle, almost to the 40-yard line. Kiki Diala is there for Houston. We're under 2 minutes to go in this football game. Michigan trying to position themselves, if not for a touchdown, at least for 3 from the foot of Novo Biovic, who's hit on 12 of 14 attempts so far this year, getting warmed up on the sideline. He may be the difference before it's all over here at the Silverdome.
If you want it,
I like it.
If you really like it,
I really like it.
We can help you.
The 109th running of the Preakness Stakes coming up live from Baltimore, Maryland. That's May the 19th, 5 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 o'clock Central, the Preakness Stakes from Baltimore. We've got 1 minute and 57 to go. There is Novo Biovic, the kicker, the punter, and maybe the hero.
I think I said Biovic hadn't kicked a field goal in 3 games, and what I meant to say was he hasn't attempted a field goal in 3 games. He hasn't even been on the field for an attempt. And he may be a little cold, but the guy can really kick. He's got some great statistics. He has the longest field goal in the league this year, a 56-yarder he kicked. And from the 30 to 39-yard line, he's 3 for 4. Same from 40 to 49, and 1 for 1, 50-plus. Anything under 30 yards, he's been perfect this year, Biovic. So they're almost in range. John Williams, 125 yards. Fowler, a big second half, almost 100 of that, 103 yards here in the second half.
And coming in, we didn't figure the running backs would play that much of a role in the outcome of this game. Less than 2 minutes to go. 2nd and 5. This is Cleo Miller. Changes direction, bounces off one man, makes it back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe Hollis Hall is there. So is Calvin Eason. Cleo Miller unable to find any running room. 1 minute 45 to go, setting up a 3rd down play, 3rd and 5 for Michigan. This is a very, very important play.
The thing that the defense did on that play that they haven't done the entire half and maybe the entire game is they came up and forced the thing. He got some depth defensively, turned that play in, and they were able to stop the running play, make it 3rd and long yardage.
There's a timeout right now. Both of the coaches talking things over with their respective players. It'll be interesting to see what kind of a play they come up with. Both teams, the last few minutes, have been staying to the ground. There is Bobby Hebert, and he's got to make a good 5 yards, maybe closer to 6, actually, here. And if he can make it, obviously they're in good shape. If he doesn't, I'm sure they'll try it again on 4th down as well.
If he gets to the 30, it'll be a 47-yard field goal for Biovic, and that's a long way. 3rd down and long. They need a 1st down to realistically have a chance. You don't want to turn the ball over to Houston on
at
the
41.
40-yard line.
No
way,
no.
Because these guys are just too powerful. And you know, it's funny about an offense like that. The offense isn't even on the field for the Gamblers, and it's playing an important part in this game because the Michigan people know that if they give the ball up to that Houston offense, they've got a good chance of getting down the field. Bjovic, I guess he'd be the guy you'd want on the field if you needed 3 points to win a ball game. He hasn't missed in 8 tries, but again, he hasn't tried in almost 3 games, and that can do something to you.
Our halftime score today at the Silverdome was 14-7 Michigan. We've seen a wild second half.
But a little different.
A little different. We didn't expect Houston to stick to the ground, to go with a kid like Fowler, who's enjoying the finest day of his career. And it really has changed things up. And like you said, I think it's a tribute to Mouse Davis, Daryl Davis, and the Houston folks, that they're willing to do the things they have to do to win.
Well, one of the things we were concerned about was that Houston's offense was maybe not all that flexible. They've disproved that today, and they've run the ball very well.
The crowd is pumped. Third and officially 6 yards. Broughton in motion. Miller and Williams the back. Williams, the give, and he is taken down by Fitzpatrick. A big play for Fitzpatrick. A loss of 4. A clutch defensive performer. The young man from the University of Miami. Now what?
Well, we're going to get a timeout.
No kid.
I think we're going to see the punting team, and Novo's going to do the punting too. Got to say something about Fitzpatrick. He was knocked out on the field earlier in this game, and he's come back right there, number 62 from the University of Miami, the nose guard on the national championship team last year, and a big, big play.
Great competitor, no question about it. 1:33 to go, and Novo is going to punt this thing away. And the idea is, I would suppose, to try to pin it down inside the 10-yard line and get that ball back in the final minutes. It's tied. We've got 1:33 to go. Back with more in a minute.
This is today's Chevrolet.
44, Michigan chooses to punt it away with 1:33 to go. There is Novo Bjovic. 47 plus his average so far today. Let's see if it's not a fake. Wouldn't surprise us. Long, long count. Here we go. Novo takes his time, but he's going to punt it away. That's Sanders at the 7. Swings back, changes direction, and hit at the 6-yard line. Tom Moriarty.
You have to question whether he should have caught that ball. Sanders better to start at the 20 than the 7, thinking it might get in. Even if they get a good bounce, they're only going to go to the 3-yard line. So I have to say something about Moriarty, number 45. He's made 2 tackles on punts inside the 10-yard line and played a super game on the special teams for Michigan. When you get into a game that's this close, you look for that guy on the special teams to make a big play. Another thing, this is just like sudden death. For all intents and purposes, we're in sudden death right now. The score's tied, 1:24 to go, and Houston had an awful time in sudden death last week. That might be going through their head.
There is Novo. The heart and soul of the Michigan team. He's a very popular man on the team and in the town. The crowd is booing. 1:24 to go. Kelly hands off to Fowler. Big room, 10, 15, 20, 23-yard line before he's brought down by Tom Moriarty. And Fowler is running wild today. We've got 1:17 to go.
It's got to make you think. It's a draw. Watch him. He'll sit. Look, see him stop and wait right there. And it's a little bit different now. They ran this draw outside off tackle, which they hadn't done earlier.
Kelly is ready to go. He fires it out to Sanders. Tries to get away from one man. Jumps out of bounds at about the 24. Gain of 2, maybe 3. Clock stops. 1:08 to go.
David Greenwood had a comment this week. He said, playing against Houston is playing against an offense that runs the 2-minute offense the entire game. So if you're wondering if this team has a good 2-minute offense, well, they lead the league in offense, and it's all 2-minute offense.
They got a lot of practice at it. Nothing different for them at all. Kelly. Sanders in motion, top of your screen. Kelly across the middle to Sanders. Can't make the catch. Hit him in the hand at the 38-yard line.
Well, they came with the blitz. They had him in man-to-man coverage. They got the blocking, and it was just a foot too long. Kelly to Sanders. You see him clap his hands there. He just almost had it.
Minute 4 to go. It's all tied. As you can see, Houston trying to get that ball within field goal position. There's a look at Michigan coach Jim Stanley. He's tense, obviously. 3rd and 8. Kelly. Gonna give it to Fowler on the draw. Escapes a couple tacklers. Squeezes up to the 32-yard line. Maybe the 33. It's going to be close to the first down. See where they mark it. We want to welcome those of you who are watching the Oklahoma-New Jersey game. Let's set up the situation here. 58 seconds to go. Houston with the football on the 32-yard line. They've just gotten the first down. Todd Fowler, running back, has been the story the past few minutes. Kelly, the punt, gets away, gonna run it, and he is tackled. And the Michigan fans love it. Reggie Singletary, the man to make the hit. 45 seconds to go.
Mobility of Jim Kelly in evidence there. Kelly was able to get outside. As you look at his stats, he's had a pretty good day, although those 2 interceptions led to scores in the first half. Singletary, backup nose guard, great job. He put on the initial pass rush, and then he was able to catch Kelly from behind.
Houston has just called their final timeout. The man with the headphones draped around his neck is Darrell Mouse Davis, the man responsible for the run-and-shoot offense. An offense that everybody's talking about in the USFL. 28-28. It's been a while, won 14-7 the score. Michigan led at halftime. Houston in the second half, as we alluded to, has depended a great deal more than we anticipated on the running game. A young man by the name of Todd Fowler out of Stephen F. Austin, a rookie, who had gained only 133 yards the entire year, has been a major factor. And Jim Stanley, the head coach of Michigan, looks on there. And Fowler, you know, Kelvin, is really been a factor.
Well, Jim's got to wonder. In the second half, it was 14-7 in the first half. In the second half, Michigan got up by 14 points. They led 28-14, and then Houston, who had passed almost exclusively in the first half, started running draw plays to Fowler. Jack Pardee, the head coach there, I'm sure he and Darrell Davis talked it over, and they decided unless they ran the ball, they weren't going to be able to put a dent in this Michigan defense. Well, the draw play, and not Jim Kelly, but the draw play to Fowler has been the big weapon. Fowler is well over 100 yards and has run for an average of about 15 to 20 yards on each draw play. That's put them where they are right now. They stormed back, scored twice. It's 28 all, and 45 seconds to go. I think we've seen almost the end of this draw play. He's going to have to put it up on top, get in field goal range.
Jim Kelly, the USFL's #1 passer. Leads the league in yardage, attempts, and completions. Here's a pressure situation. 2nd and 11. That is Sanders in motion to the near side. Kelly will throw it up. Big run. Takes him down. Borland, second-year linebacker out of the University of Wisconsin, comes off the left side. Kelly didn't see him. He goes down big time.
Well, all day we talked about this. When Kelly rolls one way, the backside rush automatically should come. But see the tackle? He knew he was supposed to pick him up. He's got to check for the linebacker. He didn't. He's chasing him, but it's too late as Kelly never sees him, and down he goes. That's a big play for Michigan, and it puts Kelly and the Gamblers in a tough spot.
That creates a 3rd and 20 situation with 42 seconds to go. There's the man Borland, made that hit on Kelly. Here's a kid who was not drafted by either league. He ends up being a starting linebacker this year for the defending champion Michigan Panthers. Got a man down on the field. I believe that's Donnie Martin, right guard, out of Rice, who was injured on the field. The significance of today's game is seen very easily. Oklahoma has lost their football game. Their record was 6-4, now is 6-5. The winner of the Panthers-Gamblers matchup this afternoon will inherit the first place spot all by themselves.
Houston is coming off an overtime game with Los Angeles. As you see, Martin, and that's a big loss. He's played a whale of a game at offensive guard, asked to pass block most of the day, but he has come on to block very well for that draw play and allowed Fowler to run for some yardage. This team, Houston, was in an overtime game last week with Los Angeles. They had two very bad things happen to them in overtime. Kelly threw an interception, gave L.A. the ball, and then they had a roughing the passer call. And both of those things led to the winning field goal for L.A. And as I said earlier, 42 seconds to go with the score tied. This is essentially overtime. That's what we're looking at, really, with the situation here. And you wonder if these things are going through Kelly's mind. He's thrown 2 interceptions today and had kind of a rough time of it against this Michigan defense. So we'll have to take a look, see if Kelly can respond here. 42 seconds, a long way to go for field goal position.
See what Mouse Davis has cooked up for Jim Kelly and the Gamblers. 42 seconds to go. It is 3rd and 19. There are the stats for Kelly. 20 of 29. Gonna give it to the draw. Fowler. Singletary is there. Did not fool Michigan this time. The clock stops with 33 seconds to go. And that surprised me.
Well, it does, but remember what I just said about things that happen in overtime. You don't like to be caught in predictable situations. They had long yardage. Michigan has played the pass as well as anybody has against Houston this year, and maybe they figure they've got a better shot in overtime starting all over, certainly because they didn't get the first down, and now if they're successful, the best they can hope for is overtime, the Gamblers.
So Dale Walters comes on. There is Walter Broughton back to receive at his own 27-yard line. Down to 33 seconds. We've seen a whale of a football game today.
Walters has had a good day punting. He's had some real good punts, but you wonder if Michigan maybe is going to try a little pressure here. They have nothing to lose if they come after him, as long as they're careful, of course.
I would think they would have the rush on.
47-plus yards for Walters on punting today, and all of those kicks have been good kicks with good hang time. So he's a good man to have out there if you have to punt the ball.
All right, here we go. Dale Walters is back. To punt this football away, Jim Stanley has that same expression on his face, whether he is winning or losing, whether the whole game is ahead of him or 33 seconds, as the case is right now. Walters gets away. Not a good punt. Coming down the 45-yard line, bouncing. Good bounce down to the 33-yard line. We've got 22 seconds to go. And the Michigan Panthers will see what they can come up with. 39-yard punt.
Good punters get good bounces.
That's right. That's right. Somehow works that way. Kevin, with 22 seconds to go, will they play, do you think, with overtime in mind here? Or will they put it up trying to get it down for the field goal range?
Well, I said earlier, I can't imagine a team sitting on a lead when you're playing the Houston Gamblers, the leading offense. You remember, you have to toss a coin in overtime to see who gets the ball, and you don't want Houston back on the field. It seems to me you have to go for it.
A bear at quarterback. Broughton in motion. Cleo Miller gets the pass. 35-yard line up to the 40 and knocks out of bounds. At the 42-yard line. Very close to the first down. 16 seconds to go.
Well, that's great execution. When they're going to run the ball, primarily they've got Williams and Lacey in the backfield. What they did there is they took the wide receiver Broughton and they put him in the backfield. They run him out, clear it out over there for Miller, and they get Miller on a swing, and he's able to get out of bounds. I mean, that's just a very well-designed play and a perfect play for this situation because it allows you to pick up yardage and get out of bounds.
They're at about 2nd and 1 yard for the first. 16 seconds to go. Ball is on the 42-yard line of Michigan. Hebert. Broughton again, coming near side. Swinging out left side. Same play to Cleo Miller. Knocked immediately, and the ball is loose. No play. Will Lewis makes the hit. My.
Well, I thought to myself, as soon as Broughton went into motion this way, I thought same play to the other side. As a linebacker or a defensive back, that's what you've got to think. You just saw it to one side, it was successful, and offensive coaches and offensive players are predictable. Will Lewis, to his credit, thought the same thing. He came up a lot harder and made a good hit, and if Miller had taken another step, that's a fumble.
Exactly.
Lewis hit him almost a little bit too early.
Bear getting instructions from the sideline. He has 12 seconds remaining. Football on the 42-yard line. He's got Williams and Miller in the backfield. Anthony Allen, Darren Conway to the near side, and Broughton at the top of your screen. He's going to put it up. Abear going long. That is Broughton. He's got it. Walter Broughton had the football, it looked like to us, at the 8-yard line, and dropped the football with 5 seconds to go.
Hollis Hall, the defender, does everything right here except for one thing. He's got perfect defensive position, but right here he's got to turn around. He never turns his head around. If he looks when Broughton looks, he can knock that down. And boy, on a prayer, Houston is saved on a prayer there because, see, he never turns around and looks at the ball. If he turns around, he can get his hand up. The first axiom of pass defense is when he looks, you look. And the ball will be there. Great pass by Abear and a real tough break for Michigan.
Walter Broughton is shaking his head right now. That could have been the ball game. 5 seconds to go. Jovic and Abear talking to Coach Stanley on the sideline. The United States Football League is an exclusive presentation of ABC Sports. Today's game has been sponsored by Chevrolet, with the performance, the style, the innovation, the quality, and the value that make up today's Chevrolet. By IBM and the growing family of IBM personal computers. By Texaco, who also brings you quality automotive products you can trust. And by Allstate. We insure your home, your car, your health, your business, and your life. You're in good hands with Allstate. Corey McFerrin, Ken Kiley, and Jim Paskey along with you at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. A crowd of nearly 30,000 on hand, and they have seen some kind of a football game. 28 all, 5 seconds to go.
Well, that was the play I expected to see. The one we saw before, I expected to see that one now with 5 seconds to go. I was thinking with timeouts, they might go down the middle, try a hook pattern. Deep hook about 20 or 30 yards and set up for a field goal. Now with 5 to go, I guess we're headed downfield on this one.
I would think they're going to try it again, exactly.
Last game these two teams played, Michigan outgained Houston 560 yards to 466. We've seen something less than that today, but certainly equally exciting game. This has been a terrific football game with an ebb and flow on both sides, ending up with 5 seconds to go here. We've got a tie score.
Michigan, as we've mentioned several times during the course of the broadcast, has lost 4 consecutive ball games. Anthony Carter, their star player, lost during the victory over San Antonio. They have not won since, a major factor in their demise. And obviously, a game like this, they would love to win and get that monkey off their back as well, of course, is to take first place in the Central Division of the Western Conference. Let's see what they do with 5 seconds to go. They've got 3 wide receivers. Allen, Holloway, Broughton. Abear is going to throw it up. They used to call this the Big Ben play. Way up in the air, 5-yard line, incomplete pass. They sent 3 receivers all down to the same area of the field between the 3 and the 6-yard line, hoping for some kind of a deflection, some kind of a football to fall in somebody's arm.
Well, you've seen that a lot of times, and the purpose of the play really is to get as many bodies in the same area as possible. If there's a deflection, well, then you can catch it. Also, you're looking for a penalty. If you get 6, 7 guys sitting down there by the goal line, you want one of them to bump a receiver. And of course, the play can't end on a penalty.
Exactly.
So the offense has a shot. You've got 2 shots with that, but frankly, it doesn't work all that often.
I saw that same play work this past fall in Atlanta, where Billy White Shoes Johnson of the Falcons, you might have seen it, caught a similar ball after it knocked off of a defender's arm, grabbed it, and dove across for the score. It ended up winning the football game. It was a wild play. We're going to flip a coin at the center of the field, determine who kicks off to whom, then a 3-minute break, and we'll come out play sudden death overtime. It's 15 minutes, or of course, whoever scores first, it's all over. And then if it's tied at the end of 15 minutes, you got yourself a tie football game. The noise you hear has nothing to do with the toss at the center of the field. It has to do with the scoreboard. Shows the Detroit Tigers have defeated the Indians by a score of 6-5. The Michigan Panthers have won the toss so that Yale can continue for a few more seconds.
I think it's significant that Michigan scored 28 points in this game. They had been having problems. They've been averaging...
We'll receive it right here.
I think they're talking about who had the head call, who had the tail call. Obviously, Houston's won the thing, but Robert Pennywell is not very happy about it. He's saying, hey, I called it.
Well, there'll be a discussion here. Obviously, Pennywell feels that something else happened, something obviously happened that he wasn't aware of out there.
It's all tied up. We've got sudden death overtime. The Houston Gamblers and the Michigan Panthers all knotted up at 28. We are in overtime for the Gamblers, their second consecutive overtime game in 2 weeks. They lost to the Express last week, 27-24. And Kevin, there are the stats through 4 quarters.
Well, the biggest surprise there is the rushing yardage under the Houston sign, 168 yards. You would expect that